Title: I found out I was adopted completely by accident, and I still don't know who knows that I know. I'm writing this on an alt. I've never told anyone the full story, not even my best friend, not my girlfriend, not even my therapist. The reason is simple: once you know something like this, you can't unknow it, and pretending you don't know becomes its own twisted skill. I found out I was adopted. But not in some heartwarming, tearful, we always loved you like our own, kind of way. No. I found out by accident. Stupid, random, not even supposed to be there kind of accident. And now I live every day pretending like nothing has changed. But everything has. Let me back up. I'm 27 now. Pretty normal life. Grew up in a mid-sized town in Michigan. 2 parents, mom's a high school librarian, dad's an HVAC contractor. 1 younger sister, Maddie, who's 22 and studying environmental science or something with trees and salamanders. Solid middle-class upbringing. We had camping trips in the summer, pancake Saturdays, and a dog named Juno who lived forever. My parents aren't perfect, my mom micromanages everything, my dad avoids feelings like they're jury duty, but I always felt loved. Like, genuinely. They came to all my swim meets. Dad built me a treehouse. Mom cried when I graduated. And at no point, not once, did I ever think I wasn't theirs. The moment I found out wasn't dramatic. There was no big reveal, no family fight. Just paperwork. A single page in the wrong folder at the wrong time. It happened last fall. Mom was recovering from minor surgery, and I offered to organize the hall closet while she rested. You know that one closet every family has, full of warranties, expired coupons, weird receipts from 2012, old light bulbs no one wants to throw away? That one. I figured I'd toss junk, organize the rest. I found a box labeled, "Important, keep." Of course I opened it. There were birth certificates, social security stuff, old report cards. Mostly boring. Then I pulled out a slim, stapled file. On the front, in faded ink: Adoption finalization documents, private. My heart actually stopped. Like full chest freeze, air sucked from the room kind of stop. I sat there, frozen, like I'd accidentally opened a classified CIA file. And then, because I'm an idiot or because I had to, I read it. It was me. My name. My birthday. But not my mom and dad's names. Different ones. Strangers. Then crossed out, replaced with my parents' names. Legal terms I didn't understand: termination of parental rights, petitioner to be named legal guardians, closed adoption. Date: March 5, 1997. I was born in December '96. I had been adopted when I was 3 months old. And no one ever told me. It didn't feel real. You know how your brain sometimes doesn't let things be real right away? Like it tucks it behind glass and says, "Let's revisit this later." That's what happened. I just sat there on the floor with this paper in my hand, waiting for someone to say, "Ha! Got you." No one did. Just the sound of the TV from the living room, some Food Network rerun my mom liked to fall asleep to. I put the paper back. Box back in the closet. Closet door closed. Then I went downstairs and made tea like nothing happened. The first 2 weeks after that were hell. I couldn't sleep. I kept overanalyzing everything. Every memory. Every word. Every photo in the hallway. Like, did my mom look a little too old in my baby pictures? Why are there so few of me as a newborn? Why did I never look like anyone else in the family? It's insane how fast you can spiral once the seed of doubt is planted. And then came the real kicker. I couldn't ask. Because how do you bring that up? Hey, Mom, while you were recovering from surgery, I accidentally stumbled into the biggest secret of my entire existence. Pass the carrots? No. I couldn't do it. Something in me, pride, fear, maybe some twisted loyalty, said, "Don't ask." If they didn't tell me for 27 years, maybe they don't want me to know. So I didn't ask. I started pretending. The pretending part is what no one warns you about. It's exhausting. You have to keep track of what you knew before versus what you know now. You have to smile at baby stories without asking follow-ups. You have to act surprised at family resemblances you know don't apply to you. Worst of all, you have to smile when your mom calls you, my baby boy. Because she means it. And maybe she is your mom. But it doesn't feel the same anymore. The real mindfuck came 2 months later. Christmas Eve. We were doing our usual, hot cider, bad sweaters, Maddie's eco-friendly gifts wrapped in newspaper. After dinner, we sat around telling old stories. At one point, my mom got emotional, she always does, and said, "I remember holding you in the hospital and thinking, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me." And I just stared. Because unless that hospital was a courtroom 3 months after I was born, it didn't happen. And she knew that. So what was that? A lie? A memory rewritten? I excused myself to the bathroom and nearly threw up. That night, I lay awake in the guest room wondering how many of our memories were fake. Around January, I started doing some low-key digging. Not full DNA test rabbit hole, just small stuff. Googling adoption laws in Michigan. Looking at public birth records. I couldn't find much. It was a closed adoption, after all. No names. No way to reach out. Just 2 strangers listed on that paper, now burned into my memory. But I did start seeing things differently. Like how my mom always flinched when the topic of birth stories came up. Or how my dad got weird when people asked who I took after. Or how Maddie once joked, "You must have been switched at birth, you're way too sensitive for this family." Was it a joke? Was it a slip? Was she adopted too? Now here's the part that still gives me chills. Last week, I was visiting home again. Mom was out getting groceries. I was in the attic looking for old board games when I found another box. Not labeled. Just dusty. Inside, a pile of old photo albums. The first few were normal, family vacations, birthdays, etc. Then I opened one I'd never seen before. Inside, baby pictures. But not mine. Not Maddie's either. A different baby. Different setting. Different people. No names. No captions. Just photos. A hospital. A baby in a yellow beanie. A tired young woman holding the baby. A man standing nearby, not my dad. And then, a photo of my mom, looking much younger, holding the same baby. Not in a hospital. In a house. And on the back, faint handwriting. March 1997. First day home. I put the album away. Slowly. Carefully. I didn't take a picture. I didn't steal anything. I didn't leave a trace. But that night, I couldn't look my mom in the eyes. Not even during dinner. Not even when she hugged me goodbye. Because now I knew. Not just that I was adopted. Not just that they hid it. But that they planned to never tell me. And now? Now I don't know what to do. I'm stuck between truths. I know I was adopted. They don't know that I know. Or maybe they do, and they're pretending I don't. Or maybe we're all pretending. Every family has secrets. But mine? Mine is me. Part 2 of 3. If you read Part 1, you know I found out I was adopted completely by accident, and since then, I've been living in this strange, secret reality. I know. But they don't know I know. Or, maybe they do, and they're pretending I don't. Either way, things feel different now. Heavier. Like every interaction has an echo underneath it. A second version. The words we say. And the truth behind them. So after the photo album in the attic, the one that showed a baby that wasn't me, in a place that wasn't our house, held by people who weren't my parents, I told myself I was done digging. that I didn't want to know more. But of course I did. Because once you start pulling on the thread, you can't help but wonder how long it is, and what happens when it finally snaps. Let me tell you about the hospital folder. 2 weeks after I got back home, I couldn't stop thinking about the name I'd seen in the adoption papers, the one listed as my birth mother. It was short, ordinary. Let's call her Julie M. here. I remembered the way it looked typed on the paper. Faint ink. Slightly off-center. Like a ghost from the 90s. So I Googled it. At first, nothing came up. But then I got specific, added in birth year, guessing based on the dates, the town listed in the file, the month I was born. And I found her. A woman named Julie M., born 1979. She'd have been 17 when I was born. There was a blog. Old, like mid-2000s era. Still online. Dusty and forgotten. Posts about motherhood. Struggles. Regrets. A post from 2007 simply titled, "I wonder if he knows." My stomach dropped. I clicked on it. It was short. Just a few paragraphs. She never mentioned a name. Never described me. But it was me. I knew it. She wrote about giving up a baby boy in 1997. How she'd wanted to keep him but couldn't. How her parents pressured her. How she wondered every day if he was happy. If he was healthy. If he'd ever try to find her. I sat at my kitchen table at 2 a.m. just staring at the screen. Heart racing. Palms sweaty. She wasn't trying to be found. But I'd found her. I didn't reach out. Not then. Instead, I did something, kinda messed up. I went back to my parents' house that weekend. Maddie was there too, home from college. It felt weirdly normal. My mom made her tuna noodle casserole, aka edible depression. My dad yelled at the dog for begging. Maddie was glued to her phone like always. I kept watching them. Looking for cracks. Tells. Moments of guilt. Nothing. At one point my mom was folding towels and said, "You used to love getting wrapped up in the warm ones, like a burrito baby." And I almost said it. Was that before or after the court finalized the adoption? But I didn't. I just nodded and said, "Yeah, I remember." Like a liar. That night, Maddie and I stayed up late playing Mario Kart. We were talking trash, like always, and out of nowhere I said, "Hey, random question, you ever feel like mom and dad don't tell us everything?" She raised an eyebrow. Like what? I don't know. Family stuff. She laughed. Bro, they're the most boring people alive. Their idea of a secret is pretending they don't like Wheel of Fortune reruns. I nodded. Yeah. Just wondering. Then she added, "You're the favorite anyway. If there's a secret, it's probably that you're actually royalty or something." We both laughed. But something about the way she said it made my stomach twist. The truth was eating me alive. So I did the thing everyone tells you not to do. I bought a DNA test. You know the kind, spit in a tube, mail it off, wait 6 to 8 weeks, have your life rearranged by a $99 kit and some poor guy in a server room. I didn't even know what I was hoping for. Maybe confirmation. Maybe clarity. But a part of me hoped I'd find nothing, that it would come back blank, or muddled, or so inconclusive I could pretend it didn't matter. Spoiler, that's not what happened. 6 weeks later, I got the email. Your results are ready. My palms were so sweaty I couldn't unlock my phone the first time. I opened the app. Looked at the ancestry breakdown. It wasn't what shocked me, it was what wasn't there. My whole life, my parents told me we were Irish with a bit of German. The test? Mostly Eastern European. A chunk of Middle Eastern. A splash of Central Asian. 0 Irish. 0 German. Okay. That could mean anything. Ancestry isn't paternity. Then I clicked over to DNA matches. My heart practically exploded. There, listed as a first cousin match, was someone with the last name M. Same as Julie M. I clicked their profile. No photo. Just a generic username. But under their bio, one sentence. Searching for maternal family, born in Michigan, 1997. I dropped my phone. I didn't sleep that night. Kept thinking about what it meant. About Julie. About her writing. I wonder if he knows. I knew now. And she was out there. I wasn't supposed to know. But I did. So, what now? 3 days later, I messaged the match. Simple. Careful. Hi, I think we may be related. I was born in Michigan, 1996. Would love to compare notes if you're open to it. They replied a few hours later. Hey. Thanks for reaching out. That's wild. I've been trying to find info on a cousin my aunt gave up for adoption back in the 90s. She doesn't talk about it much. But the timelines match. Her name's Julie. I sat there staring at the screen. The world felt suddenly so small. And then, it got even smaller. They wrote again. Her last name isn't M anymore, BTW. She got married. Lives in Ohio now. Kids. Teaches 3rd grade. If you're who I think you are, she's your mom. I never replied. I left the message on read. Because what do you even say to that? Cool, thanks. I'll send her a birthday card? No. I wasn't ready. Instead, I closed the app. And started crying. Because up until then, this whole thing had been theoretical. Legal. Historical. A file. A blog post. A blurry photo. But now? Now she had a face. A job. A family. A life. And I was outside of it. I started spiraling. Thinking about her kids, my half-siblings. Do they know I exist? Does she wonder what I look like now? Do we look alike? Do I remind her of anything? Or am I just a closed chapter? A secret she prays never reopens? Here's the part that broke me. I typed her name into Facebook. And I found her. No mutuals. No profile picture. Private account. But one public post. From 2015. Happy birthday to the boy I carried for 9 months and held for just 3 days. Wherever you are, I hope you feel loved. I'll always carry you with me. I read it 3 times before it sank in. She remembered. She hadn't forgotten. She hadn't rewritten it. She knew what day it was. She just wasn't allowed to say my name. I haven't told anyone any of this. Not Maddie. Not my parents. Not even the cousin I messaged. It feels like if I say it out loud, it'll become permanent. Like pushing a button you can't unpress. But I keep thinking about this one moment, last weekend, on the phone with my mom. She was telling me about Juno, our old dog, and said, you were always his favorite. He followed you around like you were his. Like I was his. Not theirs. Not mine. His. And maybe that's what this is really about. Ownership. Belonging. Who claims you, and who chooses to let you go. Next week is my birthday. And I don't know if I want to spend it pretending anymore. Part 3/3, 15,000 characters. If you're just tuning in, Part 1 and Part 2 cover how I discovered, totally by accident, that I was adopted. My parents never told me. I found a file while organizing a closet. What followed was 6 months of pretending not to know, all while unraveling the quiet truth of who I really am. In Part 2, I connected, accidentally, with a cousin on a DNA site, found my biological mom's blog, and eventually, her. Her Facebook, her birthday post about me, her face. And now? It's my birthday. And I think I'm done pretending. I turned 28 last Friday. I've never liked birthdays. They always felt weirdly performative, smiling through cake and, surprise, cards and texts from people you haven't talked to in months. But this year, it felt wrong. Like I was commemorating something false. Not just a birthday, a birth story I don't know. Who held me first? Who named me? Was I loved in those first weeks? Do I look like someone? I don't know. I celebrated anyway. Dinner with friends. Cake with Maddie. FaceTime with mom and dad. They sang the usual song. Off key. My mom cried. My dad said, 28? Old man. And I smiled through it. Like always. Like a liar. Later that night, after everyone left, I sat alone on my couch holding my phone. Julie's profile was still open in another tab. I hovered my finger over the message button. I'd drafted dozens. All unsent. Hi, I think I might be your son. I found out the truth. Did you name me something else? All too much. All too little. I didn't message her. Not yet. Instead, I texted Maddie. Hey, want to come over tomorrow morning? Just us. She sent a meme back, a raccoon holding a donut. On my way. She came over around 11. Still in pajamas. Brought croissants. Made herself at home, because of course she did, she's my sister. Or, is she? We sat on the floor eating and talking nonsense, bad dates, her college roommate, the weird guy at Trader Joe's. And then, when it got quiet, I said, "Can I ask you something personal?" She looked up. Always. Do you think we're actually blood siblings? She laughed. Okay, existential crisis brunch. Let's go. But I didn't laugh. I just looked at her. And she saw it. Her face changed. Wait. Are you serious? I nodded. She went quiet for a second, then said, okay. What's going on? So I told her. Not everything, not the Facebook, not the cousin, just the file. The DNA test. The ancestry. The fact that I knew. And that I didn't think she did. She stared at me for a long time. You're kidding. No. But, you look like Dad. No, I don't. She paused again. I mean. Mom always said you had her eyes. Did she? Silence. Then, softly, holy sh*t. We didn't speak for a full minute. Then she said, so they just, never told you? Nope. Why would they hide that? I don't know. She frowned. Do you think they'll ever tell you? I don't think they were ever going to. Then she asked something I hadn't expected. Do you want to meet her? The question hit me like a slap. Did I? I'd spent weeks dancing around the idea, stalking Julie's blog, reading old posts, staring at one blurry Facebook photo like it held all the answers. But actually meet her? That felt huge. Messy. Real. I don't know, I told Maddie. She nodded. I mean, I'd want to. I think. I'd have to know. I looked at her. You're not freaked out? She smiled a little. I mean, it explains why you're weirdly sensitive and like jazz. We both laughed. Then she said, you're still my brother. That doesn't change. That night, I sat with the question. Do I reach out? Is it fair to Julie? To my parents? To me? The problem with holding secrets is they start to hold you back. Every choice becomes a calculation. Every conversation is a minefield. I was tired. I wanted to stop performing my own life. So I messaged Julie. It was short. Careful. Respectful. Hi Julie, I hope this message isn't unwelcome. I believe I may be the son you placed for adoption in 1997. I want you to know I'm okay. I was raised in a good home. I've had a good life. If you'd ever be open to talking, I'd like that. But I understand if you're not ready. Either way, thank you for everything. I hit send. Then I stared at the screen until my eyes hurt. No response. Not that day. Not the next. Not the one after. I spiraled. Maybe she didn't want to hear from me. Maybe she had buried the whole thing. Maybe I was selfish for reaching out. Maybe she hated me. But on the fourth day, I got a reply. Hi. I've read this message about 40 times and cried each time. Yes. I think you're my son. I've waited so long to hear from you, but never expected to. I would love to talk. I have so much to tell you. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're okay. Thank you for reaching out. Julie. I cried. Like, full ugly sobbed. Then I called Maddie. Then I sat in the dark for a while, letting the reality of it wash over me. She answered. She wants to talk. This story might actually have a next chapter. Over the next few weeks, we exchanged messages. Slow. Careful. Gentle. She told me about herself, about being 17 and terrified, about the pressure from her parents, about the way the adoption agency told her it was best for everyone. About how she wanted to name me Ben. About how she kept every ultrasound picture. About how she lit a candle for me on every birthday. She told me I have 2 younger half-brothers. One loves video games. One plays cello. They don't know about me. Yet. I told her about my life. My family. My job. My love of bad action movies and pancakes and hiking in the fall. I sent a photo. She sent one back. We do look alike. Same eyes. Same smile. Something clicked into place I didn't know was missing. And then, the hard part. I told my parents. It happened over dinner. I drove home for the weekend. Brought their favorite wine. Acted normal. Then, after we cleared the plates, I said, I found something in the closet a few months ago. A file. About the adoption. The silence that followed was thick enough to choke on. My mom's face went pale. My dad froze. I kept going. I'm not angry. I needed you to know. I've known for a while. My mom's eyes filled with tears. I wanted to tell you, she said, voice cracking. So many times. But we were scared. The agency said closed meant closed. We thought we were protecting you. My dad cleared his throat. We always meant to. We just never knew when. And then it felt too late. I nodded. I get it. I do. But I needed the truth. And I wish I hadn't found it by accident. They both nodded. Then my mom whispered. Do you hate us? And I said. No. I just don't want to keep secrets anymore. We talked for hours. About how they got the call in 1997. About the drive to pick me up. About the moment my mom first held me and thought, he's mine. And maybe, she was right. Maybe we're made by more than blood. But we're also made by truth. And I finally had all of mine. Last week, I met Julie. In person. She drove up to Michigan. We met at a quiet park. She cried when she saw me. I didn't know what to do, so I hugged her. We sat on a bench for hours. She told me stories. I asked questions. We laughed. It was awkward and warm and surreal and beautiful. She told me she's ready to tell her family. She wants me to meet the boys. One day. Soon. So, that's where things are. It's not perfect. It's still messy. But it's real. And for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like I'm performing someone else's life. I'm living mine. With truth. With peace. And with love, in all its complicated, painful, wonderful forms. Thanks for reading. And if you're in a similar situation, if you're carrying a secret or wrestling with your identity, I just want to say. You're not alone. You're not broken. And you deserve to know where you came from. Even if it hurts. Because the truth? It sets you free. Eventually. The end.